It seems like everywhere I look, there's someone talking about lowering your cortisol, how lowering your cortisol is going to give you a snatched jawline or a snatched waist and insert XYZ health promise. But what if it was a little bit more nuanced than just lowering your cortisol? Stay tuned to today's video so we can talk about it. Welcome back. My name is Sarah. This is the Sarah Kleiner Wellness YouTube channel. And today I'm going to give you a little bit more nuance to the cortisol conversation rather than just lowering your cortisol. Now, yes, a lot of people have abnormally high cortisol, but it goes in a pattern. So today we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you a graph of what your ideal cortisol looks like. I'm also going to give you some free, simple tools to help you if cortisol is an issue for you that you can start implementing right away. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope it's informative. So if you're here for the first time, you want to support the channel, make sure to leave this video a like, leave me a comment, and a quick little note before I jump into the video. I'm running a little Valentine's Day sale. You can save up to 59% on my bundles and my mini courses. So if you're brand new to my work and you just want to get a taste of things, that link will be down in the show notes. I also have a package now that's completely free. You can get a lesson from one of my leptin courses, as well as all my ebooks, all my guides completely for free. That link will also be in the show notes for you. If you're new to my work and you're like, I'm thinking about a course, but I just kind of want to see what you're about. I want to see if you actually add value, if you know what you're talking about. Check out that link to get all of my ebooks and actually it's 2 lessons from one of my leptin courses. So you can really get a taste of what I teach and what this is about. So let's talk about this whole thing with cortisol. First, I want to share my screen with you and show you what a cortisol pattern actually is supposed to look like so we can bring some nuance into this conversation. Okay, so here we have a normal cortisol pattern. Now, most people don't have a normal cortisol pattern, but this is ideal. This is what we really want. We want to start having a rise of cortisol production within 30 minutes of waking for the day, and they go up, and then throughout the day, they lower, reaching their lowest point at bedtime and beyond, and then melatonin production can begin. So what's important that you understand is that cortisol and melatonin actually oppose one another. That's really, really important for you to understand, because if you're making cortisol, you cannot make pineal melatonin. And so when most people are talking about cortisol, they're saying it's too high, but there are certain points in the day, obviously in the morning time, when we want it to have a natural rise and we want it to naturally fall throughout the day. So when people are talking about their cortisol being too high, it's too high at the wrong times of day. And even at night, a lot of people get this inverted cortisol pattern at night. Something that is completely free, that doesn't require you spending a lot of money on supplements and protocols, things like that, is to control the amount of blue light that your eyes and your skin are exposed to throughout the day. Now, blue light actually tells your body, your brain, your eyes are on the outside of your body, connected to your brain via the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it's blue light, the amount of blue light coming into your eyes tells your brain to begin making cortisol, to turn on the HPA and HPG axes. So a lot of people talk about this HPA dysregulation. So many people have it with the adrenals, cortisol, all these things. What turns that system on is actually supposed to be sunrise and UVA light in the morning. The sunrise and the UVA, depending on the time of day, time of year, wherever you are on the globe, will tell your body for that day, time of year, season. Let's make this appropriate amount of cortisol. Nice, gentle, natural rise. And then as the day goes on, should fall. We should not expose our eyes and skin to unnatural amounts of blue light at night, because again, blue light tells the body to make cortisol. What is happening if your body is making cortisol at night? You cannot make melatonin. So you're going to have sleep disturbances. Now, there's a tremendous amount of scientific literature showing blue light at night and a correlation to breast cancer, thyroid cancer, prostate cancer, all types of cancers, metabolic diseases, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. This is very well documented. All you need to do is go to PubMed and type in blue light and disease, and you will be bombarded with a ridiculous amount of information. Why is this? Because your body, when it's getting a signal from blue light, it is being told to make cortisol. So if you have dysregulated cortisol, one of the most simple things that you can do is begin to control the amount of blue light that you are exposed to. It's difficult in our modern world. We have a lot of overhead lights that are essentially telling the body it is noon in the middle of June. Now, this is a conversation for another podcast, another video, but we're supposed to make a different amount of cortisol in the winter than we are in the summer. The UV light becomes more intense in the summer than it is in the winter. We're actually supposed to do more healing, more restoring, more repairing in the winter. Melatonin is the dominant hormone in the winter. In the summer, the dominant hormone is vitamin D when we're looking at this metabolic pathway in the body. So it's important to understand. That's why getting that daily signal, depending on the time of year that it is, the month that it is, the season it is so crucial for your body's processes to be able to run properly. And then at sunset, you pop on a pair of blue blockers. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you today for a really inexpensive pair of blue blockers that I've tested with a spectrometer. If you're skeptical and you're like, I don't want to go for the nice, expensive, fancy blue blockers, I'm just going to start with a cheap pair from Amazon. I'll put a link in the show notes for you for a pair that I've tested to make sure they block the amount of blue light that they say they do. Just a little side note, there are a lot of people out there now saying blue blockers don't work. Guess what type of blue blockers they're talking about? They're talking about clear blue blockers. So if you have a blue blocker that's clear, it does not work. It does not allow the body to start making melatonin, right? So you want to be careful with the type of blue blockers that you're buying if you do want them to be effective. But when we're talking about cortisol, for a healthy cortisol rise in the morning, you are going to do your best to see natural sunlight. Sunrise is when the sun is between 0 and 10 degrees. You can find this on the DMinder app. I'll put that link in the show notes as well. And then the next window of time where we really get the most magic happening with serotonin production that is actually synthesized into that night's pineal melatonin, that happens in UVA light. We also have, again, the HPG axes are turned on in that morning window of time from the amount of blue light coming from the sun. We have thyroid hormone, we have sex hormones, all of these things come online, and it is from that amount of light in the sky. And it's balanced with the other colors as well, which is why using a SAD box, one of those light boxes, it doesn't have the balance of the other red, near infrared, all the other colors, the spectrum of the sun that you can't necessarily see. It's the balance of those colors, which is again why a red light panel can be helpful if it's cloudy or gray or gloomy outside, but it's not going to replace the sunrise because it doesn't have the blue light. It doesn't have that light frequency to tell your body to start making cortisol. So if you do a red light panel in replacement for sunrise and the UVA light, then you're going to probably feel sleepy. You're probably not going to get that much of a kick from the cortisol. And here is a great thing for you to know. Even if it's cloudy, even if it's rainy, even if it's overcast, you still get all of those signals. They are not blocked out. It is still way brighter. The lux is way higher when you're outside during that time than when it is if you just stay inside, even with all the overhead lights on. There's a difference between lux and Kelvin. So Kelvin is the intensity. Your phone, by the way, is about 5,700 to 6,000 Kelvin. So that's the same intensity of a noon in June sun signal. So that's telling your body, make as much cortisol as you would in the middle of summer, in the middle of the day. So you don't really want to be doing that in the winter time, especially. You don't really want to be doing that first thing in the morning. Ideally, in the morning, if you're up before sunrise, which many people are here in the winter time months, you'll pop on a pair of blue blockers. I just wear yellow because if I wear the red or orange, I'm going to trip and fall in my home. So I just wear the yellow. Then when the sunrise happens, D-Minder app will tell you when that is. I'm outside. I try to go out for a couple of minutes. If I can go longer, I kind of make it a little game. I've got a 16-month-old and a teenager. And so it can be tricky here, but I'm always out there to get that proper signal. I eat a blood sugar stabilizing breakfast with protein, bioavailable protein and fat. If you get my download of the free leptin lessons, I'll also give you all of my free guides. And in that free guide is a list of 12 leptin friendly breakfast ideas that you can really tailor to be your own. You can take out the dairy, you can mix and match, but it's a really great little list of recipes that you can use. But most people, if they skip the breakfast and they go straight for the coffee and they've got the phone in their face, guess what's going to happen to your cortisol? It's going to shoot way up, way too fast, way too early in the day. If you're eating something that doesn't stabilize your blood sugar, or you're skipping breakfast, a lot of people who are already leptin resistant, already have blood sugar and adrenal issues, or skipping breakfast, your blood sugar is going to be unstable throughout the day, which is going to cause, guess what? Cortisol issues with cortisol. So a lot of these cortisol protocols, what they're missing is this important, crucial piece about light. Think about it. If your brain is getting a signal that it's noon in the middle of in June, and you're taking all these handfuls of supplements and doing all these protocols, but you're missing this crucial piece of signaling through your eyes, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. You might have a little help, might not help at all. So not against those protocols if you want to try them out. However, if you don't have this piece with your light in place, your body is going to continue to be confused. So again, wake up. If you're up before sunrise, throw on a pair of blue blockers. Just if you're skeptical, try out the inexpensive pair I have linked from Amazon. Go out there, look at the sun. That's when the don't look directly at the sun. Look in the general direction of the sun. You just go outside. You don't have to look exactly at it. It's okay if there's mountains, trees, clouds, rain, building. It doesn't matter. You're just going outside, getting that signal. It's there, regardless of obstructions. You're doing that when it's between 0 and 10, and then you go out again, ideally when the sun is right at UVA rise, which is 10 degrees. Between 10 and 30 degrees is morning UVA time. That's when a lot of that other magic happens with the sex hormones, the serotonin that gets converted into that evening's pineal melatonin. I don't want to get too in depth about melatonin, but we can make melatonin during the day as well on a subcellular level. I'll talk about that in another video. So make sure you subscribe. And if you want to dive deeper, you can check out some of my courses. Definitely check out that free resource to get all of my ebooks. And it's this stuff, it sounds too simple and too easy to be true, but it has made the biggest difference for me in staying lean and staying healthy in my 40s. And my mental health as well. So I'm very passionate about teaching this. I've also seen this mirrored in hundreds of people, almost probably over thousands of people at this point, who've implemented these things for free. I get messages on a daily basis from people who implement these things for free. They see a correction of hormonal issues, menstrual cycles. I've had women all over the world tell me that they've gotten pregnant from doing these really simple things, sleeping through the night for the first time in years and years and years. So yeah, there's stuff you can do. You can dive deeper. You can get into the courses and learn more. But if you are not implementing these really simple free things first, I wouldn't waste my time. I wouldn't waste my money on it. So I hope this has been super helpful for you. And I'll see you again for another short form video soon. Thank you for watching.